Hello, ladies. It's Janice here, and welcome to our week 3 edition of In Between Rounds. So, this week we have moved into our hypertrophy phase. And I know that there's some of you out there that know exactly what that means, but I think there's a lot of you that are like, that's a big word. What does that even mean? So, by definition, hypertrophy is the phase that is designed to increase your muscle fiber size, whereas the strength phase is designed to increase the amount of force that you can produce. So I want to clarify because this stage, although we are increasing the size of your muscle fibers, this stage will not make you huge. Okay? So please, please, please remember that. If I can't say it enough, I will probably say it a bunch of times in this chat today. Because yes, we are building and growing your muscles, but we are not spending enough time here to turn you into a huge bodybuilder or anything that resembles anything like that. Why are we here? Well, it is so important because there are many of you that have strength-based goals. Okay, if your fitness goal has to do with you increasing your strength, you need more muscle to do that. And many of you have goals or you want to tone or lean out. Well, guess what? You also need more muscle to achieve this. So please note that in order to get bulky, to put on large amounts of muscle mass, you need to eat a huge amount of calories to even try to build muscle. It is actually not easy to build a lot of muscle, especially as a female. So we're not doing that. We're also not spending a huge amount of time here. So I don't want you to be afraid of hypertrophy because we need to be here to build any type of muscle. Okay, we're just building think of it as a little bit of muscle. And who doesn't want more muscle? Because muscle helps our bodies work better, function better, be stronger, increase our metabolism. So it's very important that we build muscle. And so keep in mind that first we build it, then we strengthen it. So it does not mean that this hypertrophy is building bulk. That won't happen. So don't you worry. In this phase, you may have noticed that I have you using both low weight and low reps. All right? Whereas that's different. A lot of times when it's like low weight, you do high reps, or when you're doing low reps, you do a higher weight. Well, this is why it is so important that you stick with the tempo, because you'll see that I have the tempo designed to be slow, slow, slow. So the tempo for this week and next is 4-1-2-1. So that is a very slow tempo. You're moving through that eccentric phase, that lengthening phase, very slow. You're pausing before the concentric phase, and you're pausing again before the next rep. So there's a lot of time, which is why there's only, most of them, you're doing only about 8 reps, because you're going to get a lot of fatigue. Okay, so again, why are we moving slower? Well, the main reason is to essentially recruit those muscle fibers and get them tired, because getting them tired is what helps break them down. And then once we've got them tired, they're also going to your muscles will try to recruit more fibers, or the ones that sort of hang out in the background and maybe don't fire very much, they're going to start firing, and they're also going to have a little bit of breakdown to them. And that's where the muscle growth happens and that strength happens. Yes, you will still gain strength in this phase. But again, like I said, it's a little bit more about building that muscle. So just keep in mind that in order to do all of this, yes, the focus is on building muscle, but I do have a hidden agenda as well. The other main reasons that I have you going through these movements super slow is to work on things like your mind-muscle connection. So this is to help you move away from those mindless workouts where you're just sort of going through the motions quickly, just getting her done. Okay, there is a time and a place for that. Sometimes it is all you can do or all you can fit in, but for the most part, I would love for you to slow it down, be present, connect with the muscles that you're using, and focus on the movement. So this helps us take that momentum away. So you're actually going to improve your form. Whenever we slow things down like this, you can spend the time thinking about what you're doing and thinking about those muscles that you're activating. And here's where you also get to see some of the imbalances you may have. And so this is a great way to problem solve for maybe you've had some chronic injuries, or to hopefully avoid injuries. If you can see where some of these imbalances are and where things are harder for you to go slower, those areas are important. It's important to address why is it harder. Maybe it just means you've picked up too heavy of a weight and you got to bring that weight down, but it may mean you got to focus on this certain area and spend a bit more time, even just like I said, being more mindful to make sure you're activating that muscle, to make sure you're working what you should and not just compensating with some of those muscles that are already strong. So also, my favorite reason is slowing things down like this gives you a good muscle burn. And I know sometimes that isn't always the most fun, but it's kind of satisfying to feel like you really worked yourself. So in a phase like this, you really truly should need the rest. You should feel that muscle burn because we're moving slow, and you should need that rest. I even find experienced lifters can really benefit from slowing these things down. So everyone should be doing it, me included. So as much as you can, I want you to stick with the tempo. So if you can, join me next week, because I'm going to lead you through the workout using the tempo, or follow the recording. And I'm going to give you a quick demo here as well. I will attach my original tempo chat from last session, so that those of you who are newer and don't quite understand what I mean by tempo, that will help break it down. It's a longer video. So I'm going to do the quicker version here, and if you want a little more information, you can watch that other video. So for this week and next week, your tempo, as I mentioned, is 4, 1, 2, 1. So the first number always relates to that eccentric phase or the lengthening phase. So that's where generally you're lowering the weight or lowering your body. That's usually the easier of the two directions. Okay, so I'm going to show you with my bicep just because it's a little bit easier to visualize, but this will relate to every movement. So here's my bicep. Okay, and so if I start in this more neutral position, okay, I'm neither super contracted or super stretched, but you can see that when I straighten my elbow, the bicep lengthens. So this muscle is longer when my arm is straight. When I start to bend my elbow, that's when you can see I'm flexing that the muscle shortens. So the shortening phase is the concentric phase, which is actually going to be the third number. So the first number is that lengthening or lowering phase. The second number is the pause right here. This is called an isometric position where your muscle's not moving. And then the next one, the third number, is your concentric phase. And then that fourth number is the pause before you lengthen again. So if I was doing my bicep curl with that tempo, it's going to be lower for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pause for 1 count. Then I'm going to come back 1, 2, pause for 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, and then 1, 2, pause. We will be moving into a different tempo for week number 5. So please pay attention. I have written that in both the overall program description. So make sure you look at the kettlebell each time we're in a new phase, as well as there's a little bit of a description on the top of each workout as well. So week 5, you will be in a 2-1-2-1 tempo. So it's still slow. You still have that pause, but you're not going to lower quite as slowly, which means that's the phase where you can increase the weights a little bit as compared to this week. So with that same movement, now we've got a 2 count. So 1, 2, pause, 1, 2, pause. Again, that's 1, 2 for the lower, then you pause, 1, 2 for the raise, and then you pause. So follow that tempo. Don't be afraid of the hypertrophy phase, because truly what this is meant to do is really help you lean things out. All right. So please send me any questions you may have while we are in this phase, or any other phase for that matter, because yes, we are going to continue to periodize these workouts through different phases so that we're focusing on building different things that will all equate to you seeing those changes and hitting the goals that you have. Have an awesome rest of your day. I will see you on the internet. Take care.